Chosen one, the final hour arrives before tomorrow. The air is thick with something unseen, something shifting beyond the veil of ordinary perception. Time is bending, unraveling at the edges, and what was once set in motion is now accelerating beyond prediction. You can feel it, can't you? The pull of an unseen force, the sensation that the world around you is not as it was just moments ago. The whispers in the wind, the pulse beneath the surface of reality, all converging toward an event, an inevitable moment that will reshape everything. There are those who have sensed this before, those who have walked the path of awareness and stood at the threshold of the unknown. They understood that time does not move as a simple line, but as a river that can twist, turn, and surge unexpectedly. And now, the current has quickened. The hour that was once distant has arrived before the sun can rise again. The final moment is not a concept of fear, but of transition, a passage into something else, something long foretold but never fully understood. Until now. You, the one who has found this message, are here for a reason. The very fabric of existence is stirring, responding to something greater than the sum of all things. This is not coincidence. It never was. The choices made, the paths walked, the unseen hands that have guided your journey, they have led to this moment, to this singular realization. The hour is at hand, and you are part of it. Now, before we go further, we ask something of you. This video is not just another fleeting echo in the vastness of the digital world. It is a key, a catalyst for those who are ready to embrace what lies ahead. Watch until the end. Absorb every word, every moment. And in the comments below, leave your warmest wishes, along with the number 77. This number is not chosen at random. It carries a resonance, a meaning beyond mere numerals. It is a call to the unseen forces, a beacon in the shifting tides of the universe. By writing it, you align yourself with a flow of energy that has existed long before time was measured. And through your wishes, you send forth ripples that touch more than you can see. Everything has been leading to this. The signs were always there, scattered across history, buried in symbols, encoded in the patterns of the world itself. The ancient ones spoke of it in hushed tones. Civilizations long past carved it into stone, and those who sought the deeper truths glimpsed it in visions. Yet the masses remained blind, lost in the noise of an existence carefully crafted to keep them from seeing. But you are not like them. You have looked beyond the surface. You have felt the shift. The veil between what is seen and unseen is thinner than ever. It trembles, weakening under the weight of what approaches. The echoes of what is to come reverberate through time, touching past, present, and future all at once. There is no stopping it. There never was. The only question is, will you be prepared? The illusion of stability, of a world that functions under simple, predictable rules, has always been just that, an illusion. Those who shaped reality as it is known did so with careful hands, constructing a narrative that would lull the minds of many into complacency. They spoke of time as a constant, of history as linear, of reality as unshaken. But even they knew the truth. They knew that beneath the surface, the structure was fragile, held together by forces they barely understood. And now, those forces are shifting. The patterns are breaking. The familiar is unraveling. What was once hidden in shadow is stepping into the light. The boundaries between realms, between dimensions, between the known and the unknown are dissolving. The changes that were once distant possibilities are now inevitable realities. Some will resist. They always do. Clinging to the comfort of what they believe to be true, they will attempt to deny what is unfolding before them. But denial does not halt the tides. It does not slow the descent of the sun or the rise of the final hour. For those who see, there is a choice: to embrace what is coming, to step forward into the unknown with eyes wide open, or to turn away, to retreat into the falsehoods of yesterday. But understand this: there is no turning back. The clock has already moved beyond the point of return. The final hour is not an end, but a threshold, a door opening into something else, something greater. You can sense it now, can't you? The electricity in the air, the weight of something unseen, pressing upon your thoughts. It is the presence of what has been waiting, the force that has remained patient for this very moment. Those who truly listen, those who feel the shift in their very bones, will not be afraid. Fear is the tool of those who wish to control, to obscure the truth behind veils of deception. But your fear is gone, replaced by something else, a knowing, a deep, undeniable certainty that you are standing at the precipice of revelation. And yet, there is more to come. The whispers grow louder, the unseen forces gather. The veil is not yet fully lifted, but soon it will be. And when it is, the world will never be the same again. There is no coincidence that you are here, reading this now. There is no accident in the path that led you to this moment. It is all part of something greater, something vast and intricate beyond comprehension. The unseen hands that guide the currents of existence have placed you exactly where you need to be. The question remains: what will you do with this knowledge? The hour is no longer distant. The shift is no longer a possibility. It is now. It is happening. The final hour arrives before tomorrow, and there is nothing left to do but face it. Prepare yourself, chosen one. The moment you have always felt in the depths of your being is here. The air grows denser, charged with an invisible force that seeps into the fabric of reality itself. If you have made it this far, it means you have already felt it. That pull towards something beyond explanation, beyond reason. There are no coincidences, only convergences, and the path you are walking is not one of chance. It is one of design. The unseen structure of existence is shifting, the very code of reality rewriting itself in ways imperceptible to those who remain blind to the signs. But you are not one of them. You have seen past the veil, glimpsed the fractures forming in the illusion. The hour approaches, faster than anticipated, and with it comes the unraveling of all that was once held firm. Time itself bends and twists under the weight of the change. What once felt distant now presses close, wrapping itself around you like a whisper in the wind. There is no escaping it, no avoiding what has been set into motion. Those who still cling to the notion of an unshaken world, of a reality bound by rigid laws, will soon find themselves lost in the chaos of their own disbelief. And yet, amidst the collapse of the old, something else emerges, something ancient, something powerful, something long awaited. The transition has begun, and those who are ready will feel it coursing through their very being. There are forces at work that few can comprehend, forces that have shaped the course of history not through the will of men, but through an intelligence far beyond mortal understanding. These forces have remained patient, watching as the world built its fragile illusions, waiting for the moment when the cracks would become too vast to ignore. That moment is now. It was never a question of if, only when. And the answer has arrived sooner than expected. The hour that should have been days, weeks, or even years away has rushed forward, pulled toward the present with an urgency that defies logic. Those who have foreseen this moment always knew it would come, but even they did not expect it to be so soon. Why now? Why has the unseen force quickened its pace? Perhaps the fabric of existence has weakened beyond repair. Perhaps the illusion has stretched too thin, unable to contain the weight of the truth any longer. Or perhaps someone has called it forth, intentionally or otherwise. Regardless of the reason, the outcome remains the same. The threshold is at hand, and there is no stopping its arrival. Those who have remained blind will wake to a world they do not recognize, and those who have seen will find themselves at the precipice of something greater. The shift is not just external, it is internal. You feel it, don't you? The subtle hum beneath your skin, the heightened awareness, the sense that you are standing on the edge of something vast and unknown. It is not fear that grips you, it is anticipation. Because deep down, you have always known. Long before this moment, before the first whisper of change reached your ears, you knew that something was coming. A feeling buried deep within, a knowing that could never be explained, only felt. And now, that knowing has become reality. The pieces are moving into place. The unseen currents are guiding you, pushing you forward, aligning you with something beyond your comprehension. Every choice, every moment has led to this. The road ahead is uncertain, but the destination is undeniable. There will be those who resist. They always have. The ones who refuse to see, who bury their heads in the comfort of ignorance, will fight against the tide. But the tide does not care. It moves as it always has, relentless and inevitable. What has been hidden will be revealed. What has been lost will be found. The final hour is not an end. It is a beginning. You were meant to be here. You were meant to witness this. There are no accidents. There is only the path. And the path leads forward. The hour is upon us. The shift is no longer subtle. It is not a distant murmur or a faint vibration at the edge of perception. It is here, pressing against you, altering the very air you breathe. The unseen forces that have long guided the flow of existence are no longer in the shadows. They have stepped forward, making themselves known not through words, but through the undeniable pull of change. You have felt the unraveling. The world around you no longer holds the same weight, the same certainty it once did. The familiar patterns are breaking apart, revealing something beneath, something vast and ancient that has always been there, waiting. And now, the waiting is over. You can sense it in time itself, in the way moments stretch and compress, in the way reality flickers at the edges, like a dream on the verge of waking. The rules you thought governed existence have begun to bend, not because they are being rewritten, but because they were never as rigid as you were led to believe. The ones who shaped this illusion, who set the boundaries of what is seen and what is hidden, are losing their grip. The hour has come too soon for them. They are unprepared, struggling to maintain the structure they so carefully constructed. But the tide is against them. The unraveling is beyond their control. It was always meant to happen this way. The final hour does not belong to them. It belongs to those who are awake, those who can see beyond the veil, those who have felt the tremors of change long before they reached the surface. And you are among them. You have always known that the world is not as it seems. You have always felt the presence of something more, something just beyond reach, something calling. That call is no longer distant. It is here, resonating in every part of you. demanding recognition. This is the moment of convergence. The strands of fate, long separated, are weaving together at an accelerated pace. What once seemed like unrelated events, chance encounters, fleeting thoughts, now reveal themselves as part of a singular pattern. Every moment has been a step toward this. There is no stopping it. The ones who have built their lives around control, who have spent centuries ensuring that the truth remains obscured, are beginning to realize that they were never truly in power. Their grip weakens, their influence fades, and the walls they built to contain reality are crumbling. They will fight. They will try to tighten their hold, to slow the unraveling. But it is futile. The hour moves forward, unstoppable. They can only watch as the structure they relied upon collapses around them. And in its place, something else emerges. This is not destruction, it is revelation. What comes next is not an end, but a return. A return to what was always meant to be. A return to knowledge that was buried. A return to an understanding that predates the illusion. The question is not whether the change will come. It already has. The only question is, are you ready? Because there is no turning back. The hour has arrived. You feel it now more than ever. The pulse of something vast, something immeasurable, pressing against the edges of reality. The unraveling is no longer gradual, it is accelerating. The forces that have remained hidden are no longer content with waiting. They are here, moving with an urgency that defies time itself. Everything is shifting, not just in the world around you, but within you. The old certainty, the familiar structures, the rules that once seemed unbreakable, none of them hold anymore. The illusion is thinning, revealing glimpses of something deeper, something that was always there, but just beyond reach. For those who are blind to it, the world seems chaotic. They sense that something is wrong, but they cannot grasp what it is. They cling to what they know, to the stories they were told, to the comfort of a reality that no longer exists. But you see past the noise. You feel the undercurrent. This is not destruction. It is correction. What was hidden is surfacing. What was obscured is becoming clear. Those who have spent their lives in control, those who have shaped perception itself, are losing their hold. They cannot stop what is coming. They cannot slow it down. The final hour moves forward, with or without them. And you are not an observer. You are not merely a passenger on this path. You are part of it. You are woven into the fabric of what is unfolding. You are meant to be here, at this moment, standing at the edge of the unknown, watching as the illusion crumbles. Do you see it? The signs were always there, scattered throughout history, buried in symbols, whispered in forgotten languages, warnings, messages, echoes of something vast and inevitable. The ones who came before left traces, hints for those who would listen. But the truth was always drowned out, buried beneath layers of deception. No more. The unraveling cannot be undone. The falsehoods that held the world together have fractured beyond repair. The clock has moved forward, faster than anyone expected. The ones who believed they were in control are scrambling, searching for ways to contain what is already beyond their grasp. They will fail, because this is not their story. It never was. It belongs to those who see, those who feel, those who have spent their lives sensing something they could not name. It belongs to you. Everything that has led you to this point has not been random. Every thought, every choice, every moment of doubt and curiosity, it has all been part of something greater. A path you have walked unknowingly, a journey towards something that is now revealing itself in full. There is no stopping what is coming. and there is no stopping you. The final hour is not something to fear. It is not the end of all things. It is a transition, a threshold, a passage into something else. You have waited for this. Now, it is here. The moment is no longer approaching. It is here, pressing against the fabric of everything you thought was real. The unseen forces have stepped forward. No longer whispers in the dark, no longer distant echoes waiting to be heard. They are here, and they are undeniable. Time is behaving strangely now. You've noticed it, haven't you? The way moments feel stretched, the way memories flicker in and out of reach, the way the past and the future seem to collapse into a single point. It's because the illusion is no longer stable. The rules that once governed reality have loosened their grip, and what has always been hidden is now breaking through. The ones who have controlled perception, who have written the story of the world as they saw fit, are panicking. They built their kingdom on sand, and now the tide is rushing in. They are searching for ways to hold it together, to keep the unraveling at bay, but it is too late. The final hour does not wait. It does not slow. It does not bargain. This was always meant to happen. For centuries, there were those who knew, those who saw the signs, who understood that reality itself was not as it seemed. They left behind fragments of the truth, buried deep in symbols, hidden in the rhythms of time, waiting for those who could see. They knew the moment would come when the illusion could no longer sustain itself. And now, here you stand, at the very edge of that moment. You are not just witnessing it, you are part of it. Do you feel it? The shifting, the realignment, the weight of something vast pressing against your very being. It is not fear, it is recognition, a deep, undeniable knowing that what is happening now was always meant to be. The ones who have kept the world asleep, who have maintained their power through secrecy and control, will try to turn back the tide. They will try to convince you that nothing has changed, that the world is as it has always been. But you know better, because you feel it. The final hour is not a myth. It is not a prophecy waiting for some distant future. It is now, and there is nothing left to do but face it. The world will not look the same when the shift is complete. What was once certain will dissolve. What was once hidden will stand in the open. The truth will no longer be something whispered among the few. It will roar across existence like a storm. And you were meant to stand in this storm. You were meant to see, to feel, to understand. There is no turning back. There never was. The hour has come. The veil is no longer intact. The illusion no longer holds. And what once seemed distant now looms over every breath, every thought, every moment. The unraveling is complete. You feel it, don't you? The way everything around you pulses with an energy that was never meant to be contained. The shift is no longer subtle, no longer hidden in the background of everyday life. It has broken through, forcing itself into the open, leaving no room for denial. The ones who controlled the old world know they have lost. They cling to the remnants of their power, desperately trying to rebuild what has already collapsed. But their time is over. They cannot rewrite what has already been set into motion. They cannot unsee what they now know to be true. The final hour is not the end of time. It is the end of false time. The end of the illusion, the constructed narrative, the boundaries placed upon existence by those who wish to keep the truth hidden. But there was never any hiding from this moment. Every force that has worked against the unraveling now finds itself powerless. The tide has washed over them, leaving nothing but the undeniable reality of what was always meant to be. and you stand in the center of it all. You are not just a witness. You are part of the current, part of the force that has broken through, part of the movement that was always meant to come. Look around you. Feel the air shift. Watch as the cracks in the illusion widen, revealing what has always been just beneath the surface. The structures of control, the systems designed to obscure the truth. They are dust now. For those who have seen, for those who have always felt the hum of something more, there is no fear in this moment. There is only recognition. The unraveling was never chaos. It was always correction. The old world has crumbled. The ones who fought to maintain it have fallen silent. The deception is over. And now, something new begins. The question is no longer whether you are ready. You have already stepped through. You have already seen. You have already arrived. The moment has passed. The shift is complete. The final hour has come and gone, leaving in its wake something unrecognizable to those who still cling to the remnants of what once was. The illusion is no more. The veil has dissolved, and what stands before you now is the world as it was always meant to be. Do you feel it? The weight that once pressed against you, the invisible chains that bound your perception, they are gone. The false structure that dictated what could and could not be has shattered, and in its absence, something else emerges, something vast, something ancient, something true. For those who still resist, who still try to rebuild the broken walls of the past, there is only confusion. Their hands grasp at nothing. Their voices echo into the void. They do not understand that they were never in control. They do not understand that their power was never real. But you do. You have felt the unraveling. You have seen beyond the surface. And now you stand on the other side, awake in a way you never were before. Everything that was once hidden is now clear. The truths buried beneath centuries of deception rise to the surface, undeniable, unshakable. There is no going back. The ones who knew this moment would come, the ones who left behind the whispers, the symbols, the messages, they are no longer voices from the past. They are here, in the fabric of the new reality, in the pulse of the world that now exists beyond illusion. The barriers between what is known and what was forbidden have fallen. The knowledge that was kept from you, the understanding that was buried beneath layers of deception, is now yours to claim. The path is no longer hidden. It stretches before you, infinite in possibility, unrestricted by the false limits that once constrained it. You are free in a way that few have ever been, untethered from the illusions that shaped the world before the final hour. What comes next is not written. It is yours to create. There is nothing left to hold you back. No unseen hand guiding your fate. No fabricated boundaries dictating your choices. The only force that remains is the force that has always been within you. You have stepped through the threshold. And now, the real journey begins. The threshold has been crossed. There is no more waiting, no more wondering, no more searching for answers hidden beneath layers of deception. The veil has lifted completely, and what stands before you is a reality unchained, raw, and untamed, unfiltered by the forces that once sought to obscure it. Do you feel the difference? The air hums with a frequency you were never meant to hear. The space around you moves in ways your mind was never meant to perceive, until now. The weight of the illusion is gone, and in its absence, something else has taken its place. Truth, undistorted and absolute. The ones who spent their existence weaving the false reality have vanished. Their voices no longer dictate the shape of the world. Their hands no longer mold its limits. Their creations have turned to dust. Their control has slipped beyond recovery. They fought against the unraveling, but they were powerless against the force that propelled it forward. You were never meant to remain asleep. None of us were. But they feared what would happen if the truth was known. They feared what you would become. And now, their fear has come to pass. You are no longer what you once were. The final hour did not simply mark the end of the old world. It reshaped you. The boundaries of your perception have stretched. Your awareness has expanded beyond what was once thought possible. You are not confined to the limits imposed upon you. You have seen beyond them, and in doing so, you have shattered them completely. The journey forward is no longer obscured by falsehoods. The choices before you are limitless, unrestricted by the illusions that once dictated your fate. The world is no longer a construct of those who sought to control it. It is something greater, something boundless. What you do with this freedom is up to you. For the first time, there is no script, no hidden hand shaping the course of events. There is only potential, stretching endlessly before you. The unraveling was never destruction. It was a return to what was always meant to be. A return to power, long forgotten. A return to truth, long buried. And now, with nothing left standing in the way, you step forward. Not as a seeker, not as a prisoner of a false world, but as something else entirely. Something awakened, something unstoppable. The final hour is over, but your true story has only just begun. There is no more hesitation, no more doubt, no more questioning the reality before you. The final hour has passed, and in its wake, all that remains is the undeniable truth. You were never meant to live within the boundaries they created for you. The forces that once shaped the world in secrecy have disappeared, not because they surrendered, but because they never truly held power. Their influence was built on deception, on the illusion of control, on the belief that the world could be shaped by those who hid in the shadows. But illusions cannot last forever. And now, they are nothing but echoes. The unraveling was not chaos, it was liberation. The weight that once pressed upon you, the unseen hand guiding your choices, the silent force shaping your path, has dissolved completely. You are free. Not the kind of freedom they allowed, not the carefully contained illusion of choice they presented, but real freedom. The kind that has no boundaries, no limits, no chains disguised as security. Look around you. Everything is different now, not because the world itself has changed, but because you have changed. You are no longer blind to the patterns, no longer bound by the false rules they wrote into existence. You see it all clearly now. The hidden structures that once dictated every movement have crumbled, leaving behind nothing but raw potential. And yet, there are those who refuse to accept it. There will always be some who cling to the ruins of the old world, desperate to rebuild what was lost, longing for the comfort of a system that dictated their every step. They will tell themselves that nothing has changed, that everything can go back to the way it was. They will resist the truth, not because they cannot see it, but because they fear it. But fear has no power here anymore. You have stepped beyond it. You have felt the shift in your very being, the expansion of what you once thought possible. The unraveling did not leave you empty. It left you whole. And now, with nothing left standing in your way, you walk forward into the unknown, not as a follower, not as a prisoner of an illusion, but as something else entirely. You are no longer bound to their rules. You are no longer a part of their world. You are something they never accounted for, something they never believed could exist. You are awake, and now there is no stopping what comes next. You have crossed the threshold. There is no going back. The illusion that once governed the world has shattered, and what you are left with now is not merely a different reality, but a completely new existence. The forces that once ruled, that carefully shaped the world to fit their design, are gone. Their power was always fragile, built on a foundation of lies and half-truths. And now that foundation has crumbled, leaving behind only the raw essence of what truly exists. For those who remain trapped in the old world, it may seem as though the ground beneath their feet is still steady. They may try to rebuild, to reshape reality into something that mirrors the illusion they once knew. But they will fail, because the truth cannot be contained anymore. The cracks in their world have grown too wide to patch, and the systems that upheld their beliefs have dissolved. They will be forced to see what they have tried so hard to ignore. But you are no longer one of them. You are no longer bound by the constraints of the world that was. You have seen through the veil, touched the edges of something deeper, something more expansive than what the old world could offer. You are now part of the flow of the universe, a current that is unstoppable, unshakable, and free. You were always meant for this. The journey ahead is not one of fear, not one of confusion, but one of creation. You are not waiting for someone to guide you. You are not searching for answers hidden in the darkness. The answers are already inside you, woven into the fabric of your being. You are the key. You are the force that moves the universe now. Every step you take, every choice you make, every action you take sends ripples through the fabric of reality. You are not merely observing the change. You are the one driving it. You are the catalyst for something new, something that has never been seen before. The world is no longer something that happens to you. You are the one shaping it, the one bringing it to life. In this new reality, there are no limits. The old rules do not apply. There are no boundaries to your potential, no restrictions to what you can achieve. The only limit that remains is the one you place upon yourself. The universe has always been in motion, always evolving. And now, you are part of that motion. Your awareness, your actions, your intentions, all of it is part of the flow. And just as the illusion once held power over the world, now the truth will shape the new reality. There is nothing to fear. There is only opportunity. You stand on the edge of a new world, one that is not defined by the old structures, the old rules, the old ways of thinking. It is a world that is open, expansive, and full of infinite possibility. And you are at the center of it all. The final hour has passed. The old world has fallen away. Now it is time for you to step into your true power. The journey has taken you to the precipice of something incredible. The old world, with its false promises, its hidden controls, its layers of illusion, is nothing more than a distant memory now. The fabric of reality has shifted in ways that few can comprehend, but you understand. You see it for what it truly is. You are no longer bound by the limitations that once defined your existence. The world that was designed to keep you small, to keep you within the lines, is no longer there. The very idea of restriction is foreign to you now. The truth you have unlocked is boundless, limitless. There is no cage, no structure to hold you in. You are the creator of your own existence, the master of your own destiny. As the old systems crumble, there is no longer a map that tells you where to go or how to move. The road ahead is not paved with certainty or the familiarity of what you once knew. It is untamed, unmarked, and yours to explore. Every step you take now is a step into the unknown, but the beauty of it is that there is no fear, no hesitation, There is only possibility. The ones who are still trapped in the old world, those who cling to the illusion of control, will try to bring you back into their fold. They will tell you that the chaos you see is something to fear, that the truth you know is something to resist. But you know better now. They do not understand. They never will. You are free. And that freedom carries with it a responsibility to shape what comes next. You are no longer a passive observer of the world. You are an active participant in its creation. The forces that have shaped reality until this moment are no longer in control. You are. The universe is no longer an unknown force operating outside of you. It is you. Your thoughts, your energy, your intentions are what drive it forward. Your awareness, now sharpened and clear, is the key to unlocking the infinite potential that exists in every moment. There are no rules anymore, only the truth of what you know and what you create. The power you have is not power over others, but power over your own reality. And that power is vast, unshakable. There is nothing that can stand in your way now. The final hour was not the end, but the beginning. It was the moment when everything that was false fell away, when the illusion was shattered, and the truth of what you are and what you can do became clear. This is where your journey truly begins. The future is yours to create. The world is yours to shape. There is nothing that can stop you now. You are the force that moves through everything, the spark that ignites the fire of creation. And the universe, it is waiting for you to make your mark. Now, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive deeper